Now, my next guest has been described as the best footballer ever produced by this country. He was undoubtedly also the most controversial. And now, having retired as a player, he's taken on the challenges of football management. Will you welcome, please, Mr. Roy Keane. I think it's quite clear, Roy, we're glad to have you back in the studio. 1 week in management, how does it feel?
No, it's good. It's good to be back. I had about 5 months off. I had a really good break. I think it's the right challenge for me, and I'm ready for it.
You set the bar very high already. In your first press conference, you said, I'm going to get these guys into the Premiership. So, you know,
no, I didn't say I would. I said, why not try for next year?
All right, what is your ambition, though, for this year? I mean, it's obviously not possible this year.
No, obviously we're building for next season. There's one league game next weekend, one league game left, and obviously I'll look at the squad, look at the staff, and assess it over the summer months, and look forward to making my mark on the team, I suppose, come pre-season. So it's going to be a busy few months in terms of looking at the club and trying to get my family organised with a house and some schools.
What did Teresa say when you discussed with her the notion of moving to Ipswich?
Well, we didn't really discuss it. I just said we were going.
Yeah, but she's got to find schools and a house and all that.
No, of course I discussed it with her. No, she's fine. My wife's very easygoing. She's, you know, she knows as part of my career now as a manager that we'll have to maybe travel, and I didn't do it at Sunderland. I think that was hard going towards the end. I was commuting, and so no, she's ready, and the kids are. You know, we've been in Manchester 15, 16 years. Maybe it's time for a change.
All right. You know that expression, nice guys don't come first. And you said just a few hours ago that maybe Ipswich have been too nice.
Yeah, I think the team itself, again, I was going to say it's a nice club. It's a nice team. But there's nothing wrong with being nice. You know, I think I'm pretty nice, but I think you have to have an edge, and that's what I want to try and bring to the team. You know, it's well and good being nice on the ball, but you need to be a bit nasty when you haven't got the ball.
Your former team, by the way, they did quite well during the week. They could have done better, but 1-0 against the old enemy, Arsenal. What do you think of that team?
Of the United team?
Yeah.
Oh, well, obviously very, very strong. They've got the best squad in Europe, without a shadow of a doubt, and I'd fancy them to get through to the final now. And to be honest, I take very little interest in what goes on at United.
Really?
Yeah, I've had to move on myself. I think there's a problem with a lot of ex-players who've been at a big club like United for a long time that they find it hard to let go. You know, they still go back to the ground, they still go to the games. When I left them, I really made an effort to make a clean break, and I'll be honest with you, I have very little interest in what goes on there now.
Do you still speak with Sir Alex Ferguson from time to time?
No.
And is that because you don't want to, or do you fall out with them? Do you fall out with them?
Not really. We had a disagreement, and you know, I've moved on, and he's moved on, and you don't tend to speak to other managers really unless you're trying to do a deal with them. And no, I've moved on, and I've no reason to speak to him, I have to say.
Yeah, but you do speak to your old colleagues like Brucey and Mark Hughes, even though a lot of things you said were misinterpreted.
Yeah, of course, the usual silly headlines. You know, I think whatever I've seemed to have said over the years, in my opinion, it's always exaggerated. And it was the same last week with obviously Mark Hughes and Steve Bruce, two people I've got a lot of time for, and you know, two teammates I was delighted to play for. And I was asked a question last week about world-class managers, and I said, well, the world-class managers are the managers out there winning trophies, and all of a sudden I'm calling these two lads losers, which is, you know, couldn't be further from the truth. But I've spoke to them last weekend, and lucky for me, them two lads have a brain and they understand what's going on, and they don't get carried away with the headlines.
When you look at the footballers in the Premiership at the moment, I mean, Ronaldo, of course, being Footballer of the Year on a couple of occasions. Your old friend, I don't know if that's the right word, Eamon Dunphy, your co-author in your autobiography, he regards Ronaldo as a bit of a poser.
No, Ronaldo's a brilliant player. I wouldn't say he's a poser. He probably likes himself, but there's nothing wrong with that either. You know, well, you said Eamon was never a friend of mine, but he might have wrote my book. But a lot of people claim to be my friends. Trust me, they're not. But no, Ronaldo's a top player. I wouldn't mind about my club. But the top players are going to be criticised. You know, Ronaldo for his diving. I've been in the team with him. I've been in the dressing room, and I think he's a top lad. I've got a lot of time for him. He's a big lad. He's a strong lad. He likes to take his top off when he scores. But that's the way the game is going. You know, I don't think we should be. I wouldn't be too critical of Ronaldo. I've got a bit of time for him, actually.
Now, your career in management started in Sunderland, and we all know the history between yourself and Niall Quinn and the Mother Teresa stuff and all the rest. When you got that phone call, what was your reaction?
Well, I obviously didn't get the call from Niall. I got it from my solicitor, Michael Kennedy, and it was more from the owners of the club. Obviously, Niall was the front and the chairman, and I sat down and I said, yeah, you know, let's have a chat and see what happens. And again, I really enjoyed my time in Sunderland, and I was quite happy to put behind what happened in Saipan, particularly with Niall.
Did you have to kind of discuss it and thrash it out with him?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we had a chat when I came over to meet the owners of the club, and again, it was very, very straightforward. People, you know, we just, let's move on from what happened in Saipan.
And were you genuinely able to park that? Just say, that's over there, that's the past?
Yeah, most of it. No, we were, because even if I didn't take the job at Sunderland, again, what had gone on in Saipan, whether between myself and particularly Mick McCarthy and one or two of the senior players who I felt, you know, backed Mick up, you know, you do have to move on. I appreciate that, and I was quite happy to do that. Yeah,
and yet you and Mick also had to do business with each other. You were on the phone to each other. You met each other subsequently. That seems to be okay now. Yeah, well,
again, very, very straightforward. Again, maybe lots of things get exaggerated through the media. Mick rang me about a player I had at Sunderland, and we made arrangements to meet at a hotel in Manchester and discuss what had gone on in Saipan. And particularly now I'm a manager, and I try and see it from Mick's point of view. And again, we started out at a cup of tea, and it was fairly straightforward.
Yeah. So did you have that Saipan conversation with him, or did you simply park that as well?
I can't remember. We discussed lots of things, but again, you know, I'd be trying to be respectful of Mick, and again, even you're on about Saipan, it's amazing. People still miss the point of one of the reasons why I was particularly upset in Saipan. People talking about me losing my temper, and basically, you know, having gone over there, going back to facilities which were disgraceful, players getting injured, blah blah blah. And then to be accused of faking injury, that really got my nerves.
Yeah, you said in your book that you would have said exactly the same things, which were very harsh and very colourful about Mick. You would have said the same things to Alex Ferguson if he had said the same thing to you. Of course,
but these were all happened. And the same when I left United, we had a so-called private meeting. You know, I think if you're going to have a private meeting, you know, and you want to get something off your chest, then get off your chest. And, but unfortunately, it didn't end up in a private meeting, and a lot of things came through the media within an hour of the meeting, which, again, stuff I look back on, and I'm still not happy about, but you try and move on.
Yeah. Do you think, do you ever look back and think, I wish it were different? You know, I wish that I played, that maybe Ireland, because it was a particular, I know the term a weak World Cup is not appropriate, but a weaker, we might have actually gone quite
we wouldn't have, Pat. No, we can kid ourselves saying we were going over there with... You start your preparation a week or two before the World Cup, and people have to remember we've played at sports at a top level. We're talking about the World Cup here, which we'd qualified many months in advance. We'd gone over there. Honestly, it was a disgrace, an absolute disgrace, and I still feel strongly about it now.
But would you, now, Roy Keane, the manager, would you have handled...
I wouldn't have let that happen.
No, but I mean, would you have handled Roy Keane, the player, differently? You know, knowing what you know now about what a manager goes through.
Well, I certainly wouldn't have spoke to the captain or the senior player in front of the group of players and accused him of faking injury. I wouldn't have done that. I know that for a fact. That would have certainly been done on a one-to-one basis. So even all these years later, that's something that's still I'm not happy about.
You think you could have shouted at each other in private? It would have stayed private, and you could have.
Of course, we could have maybe sorted it out. Because for me to be accused of that is the biggest insult that I could possibly be thrown at me.
Yeah, but you did move on, and you managed to have a working and it appeared cordial relationship with Mick.
Yeah, we did. Fine. Yeah. And again, if I saw Mick, no problem. Yeah. When I've seen him a few times, obviously I've played against him in terms of a manager at Sunderland, and everything was fine. Yeah. No problem. And I know what you're saying about me as a player, and yeah, you know, I'm no angel, and I think I was very hard work. But I also, you know, I did want things done properly, I have to say. You know, I know I'm no angel. Yeah.